I'm in my other shop right now. This is not set up as nice as the main shop where I have the Torino. I keep the Dodge Shelbys here. It's equipped. I've got a work table and some basic tools. I do my painting in this shop, believe it or not, even though it's a dirt floor. I wet down the dirt, and then it's got good ventilation. I'm able to get a decent paint job. But this is this is my other shop, and let's take a look at the cars. The cars I've got out here are my Dodge Shelbys. This one here is a 1985 Dodge Shelby Charger. This one right here is not a Shelby in name. It was a collaboration between Shelby and Dodge, which came up with the engine and the body package. It's a Dodge Omni GLH, and that stands for Goes Like Hell. That's I guess what Shelby wanted. But a little bit about these. This one here has the 2.2 liter turbo T1 engine. This Omni GLH has the 2.2 liter turbo T2 engine. The difference between those are, which I'll show you in a little bit. The T2 engine has, the biggest difference is it's got a better flowing intake manifold, and it's got an intercooler. The T1 does not have an intercooler. It's got what's called a log intake manifold, which is not the best flowing, and it's got more of a throttle body injection on it, whereas this has the true multi-port. But as you can see, I put fender flares on the Charger. I'm wanting to widen the track a little bit. I just think it looks a little better. You know, I know that that's subjective to each person, but let's take a look at the interiors. Okay, this is the interior of the Dodge Charger. I'm pretty much going to just keep stock. Everything's in fairly nice shape. It needs to be cleaned up, but as you see, the seats have the wish I could get it good. The seats have the Shelby emblem in them, on them, and the upholstery is still nice. I'm going to make a few changes. I'm going to put a new steering wheel on this one. You can see the vacuum line for a turbo boost gauge and vacuum gauge, and I will show you in a little bit. I'm going to put a harness bar and harnesses on it. So otherwise, just keeping this one basically stock, except for a few little changes. Over here, I'm fixing the GLH up more for track use. I pretty much have the interior gutted on it. You can see I've got aftermarket speedo tack and fuel gauge. I've already got the pillar mounted vacuum and boost gauge, and a different steering wheel. I've got all the other parts to this car inside. and I will get to that in a little bit. But now let's take a look at the motors. I have been doing some upgrading to the motors on both of these vehicles. They're somewhat in a state of waiting while I'm doing the Torino, but I have done significant work to these. They both run really well. Let's go over the engines. This is the 2.2 liter turbo T2 engine. It can most easily be recognized by the addition of a intercooler and that better flowing intake manifold. On this one I have added an oil cooler, a tubular oil cooler, a high flow fuel filter, a fuel regulator, and for the vacuum I installed a vacuum manifold where I've got all the vacuum lines running through. It helps me keep that in order quite a bit better. And on this car I've got a single stage boost controller. That's I've got on this car I just put the stainless steel sleeving on the hoses. It's granted it's not the actual stainless steel. This car has the actual stainless steel braided hoses. This is the T1 engine, and you can see that there is no intercooler there, and it has a much more basic throttle body, and you can't even see you can barely see what they call the log intake manifold. On this one I have added a oil filter relocation setup, and I've added a tubular oil cooler for it also. That's where the oil filter normally goes, and I've got it right there right now. I have an oil catch can running through the cold air induction system. I've got my my vacuum manifold there where all the vacuum lines run to. And on this one I installed a high energy coil. On the GLH I just have the standard coil. But also on this one I have a dual stage boost controller. In terms of performance or numbers, the 2.2 liter T1 engine had just under 140 horsepower. The 2.2 liter T2 engine had just under 180 horsepower, which does not sound like a huge amount today, but as light as they are, they were potent in their day against cars such as the Mustang GTs, V8 Camaros, and even Corvettes. So let's go in and I will show you some of the other parts I've got stored away for these cars. Actually, while I'm out here, I will show you the Charger has its factory aluminum wheels on it. I've got some 17s on the GLH, which I'm not going to keep on that. In here I've got new wheels and tires for both of the cars. The black rims are on 205/50 15s, brand new tires. The 6-point rims are on 225/50 15, brand new tires. But the The black rims are going to go on the Omni GLH. The 6-star are going to go on the Dodge Charger. So let's go in and look at some of the other parts I've got stored. This is my production room. As I've shown in another video, I keep my vinyl cutter here. I have a 30-inch vinyl cutter for doing my own graphics. I've got a 30-inch vinyl cutter here and another 30-inch in my father's shop up in West Texas. Like I said, I do my own automotive graphics as well as some other projects I will show. I'll put on video also. But what I've got in here I'm going to show today are the parts I've got stored that are for the Dodge Shelby Charger and the Dodge GLH. So let's take a look at the parts. Let's look at interior parts first. This is for the Dodge Charger. Like I said, I'm got a new steering wheel for it. A Shelby steering wheel. I've got a harness bar I'm going to install, and my harnesses with Shelby harness pads, and my pillar gauge set with my boost gauge and vacuum gauge. And that's what I've got for the interior of the Charger. Other than that, I'm keeping it stock. As for the GLH, these are the seats I've got for it. You can see I've got the harnesses with the Shelby harness pads on this also. Here's the other interior parts. I've got my harness bar, the other harnesses, floor mats, which just to make it feel a little more complete. I've got also a launch control, another shift knob, and this is the more performance-oriented CPU. And you can see there, says for off-road use only. Of course, I don't know why they put that on there. That's commonly used on the Dodge Turbo street cars. Not commonly, but it's used somewhat on the regular street cars. Now let's take a look at some of the interior parts. Let's start out with the exterior parts I've got for the GLH. I did not want a tall wing on it, so the larger wing you see there doesn't stick up as much as it sticks back. It is about 1.25 inches above the roof line. Other than that, it's just sticks back. Then I've got a rear lip spoiler, which kind of hard to see, and that fits below the hatchback window where you would normally see a spoiler. For the GLH, I've got headlight lens covers. I'm deciding between two sets of mirrors. If I use these, I'll probably put them on the front fenders. If I use these mirrors, they'll go on the doors like the mirrors normally appear. Down here, we've got a front splitter and side splitters, and hanging up here is another front splitter. Those are all for the Shelbys. I haven't decided which I'm going to put on which. These are carbon fiber, and these are just black. So I've got my black front splitter and black side splitters, then carbon fiber front splitter and carbon fiber side splitters. So let's take a look at some of the exterior parts for the Shelby Charger. Now, being as though I'm just making the Charger, building it for street use, it's not near got the exterior parts that the GLH has. It's got some. I've got a rear spoiler that goes above the hatchback on it, and one of the front splitters and set of side splitters is going to go on it also. So basically, it's the splitters and a very modest rear spoiler, roof spoiler, basically, that goes above the hatchback. But I hope this has been interesting. I know that they're not the most exotic cars, but I think they're pretty interesting. And once I get done with the Torino, I will bring the Charger into the main shop, and I will start that project and be getting videos about that. But that's all for the Shelbys right now. Thanks.